Hi, Megan Weems, Pacific Union College. So my question is as the NAD, what are we doing to be an example to the rest of the church, the GC, on the concepts of LGBTQ plus, women's equality, immigrants and refugees, and any group that is a minority and has been underrepresented for so long? What are we actually doing to set the example, to make something different, not only here in the NAD, but for the GC? Because we are progressive. This group of people in this room, we all agree that things need to be just a little, I feel like there's a higher standard that we could be meeting. And I appreciate your answer on women's equality.
Well, this is a great question. I wish we had, and we didn't bring them, I wish we had a supply of the books that we recently developed on their educational books on how is it that we can relate to LGBT people. We had a whole conference with, and that's not the right way to say it, to people of varying categories. But we had a full 2-day seminar where we called our leaders in from all over North America. We had probably 300, 200 people there. I can't remember exactly. It was a very large group. And we brought in a specialist, not a Seventh-day Adventist specialist, who is working with these groups all the time, a full-time ministry. And we actually developed a handbook that we are sending out to every pastor. I wish that we had enough books and thought about it clearly enough to bring one for everyone here today. There is a whole education process that needs to be undertaken in the church. We had that conference. Last week, we had a consortium on human sexuality in our office again. We had probably 100 people this time. We had medical professionals, teachers, pastors, and so on. We have a great work to do in this area. How do we demonstrate? Let me give you one quote, and I'm not trying to put the question off because I think the church has a lot of growing to do in this area in terms of how we appreciate, respect, and treat people. But I'll give you this little quotation. From the very beginning, it has been God's plan that through his church, even to principalities and powers in the heavenly places, the final and the full display of the love of God. And how we will demonstrate in the NAD and be examples to our world church. And when I say that, I'm not just including the general conference in Silver Spring, Maryland, but the world church around the world is by demonstrating the love of Jesus to every person, regardless of their background. And that's my answer. I'll let you know.
Thank you. Thank you for the question. And I think the first thing we have to do is start off with and acknowledge that we have not been. We have not treated people like they should be treated. We have fallen prey to categorizing people by gender, by nationality, by whatever. And I think that that's where we start. Because where we have to go, and what we've been trying to do in North America, is to accept the fact that every person on the face of the earth is a child of God. It doesn't, period. And if we can see the child of God in those individuals, then it's easier to take some of the walls down that we have created. And so I think one of the things we've been trying to do is have that conversation, have that dialogue in our division, because we are we are a very, very diverse division. And if we can show how we can love each other in spite of the differences that we have, and emphasize the things that we have in common, and let that be a starting point, I think it would not only be a blessing to the world church, I think it would be a blessing to the world.